A cell is like this pot of gumbo here. This pot is just like the cell wall of a cell. It protects the gumbo and gives it structure. This burner down here is exactly like the mitochondria of the cell. The burner produces energy just like the mitochondria, but in the form of heat energy. It powers the gumbo, so to speak, and keeps it cooking. Did you know, according to the National Institute of Health, all the mitochondria in a healthy person's body make the same amount of ATP equal to 1200 watts. That's enough to power some dishwashers. I thought that was really interesting. I thought it was pretty cool. This lid here is analogous to the cell membrane. It has selective permeability, just like the cell membrane. With this lid, I control what goes in and what goes out of the cell. If I take this spoon, can't get in there. I can't do anything. But if I take this lid off, put it over here, look at that. Selective. I can get in there, do whatever I want with it. Which brings me to my next analogy. This spoon here. This spoon is exactly like a transport protein needed for active transport. It helps me grab things. It's needed to get things in and out of the cell, or in this case, the pot, just like an active transport. It's also similar in that anything I take out is going against the quote-unquote concentration gradient. I take it out this way, and it needs this protein here, this energy, in the form of this spoon. But if I need to put it back in, going down the concentration gradient, gravity does all the work. It's analogous to simple diffusion or passive transport in that it needs no energy to get back down. It goes down the concentration gradient. This sausage here, let me find a piece in here. This sausage right here is analogous to the cell's nucleus. This sausage is the main part of our gumbo. Without this sausage, this wouldn't really be gumbo at all. It's central to the dish, just how the nucleus is central to the cell. Did you know, according to the Department of Energy, if the moon were smashed to the same density as a nucleus, it would fit inside Yankee Stadium? I just thought it was super cool how the moon, which is, roughly, it's pretty freaking big, and it fits inside just a baseball stadium at the same density as a nucleus. I thought that was really interesting. Did you also know that the nucleus is it is almost 100% of an atom's entire density, or a cell's entire density, but it only makes up, it's less than, I believe, 1/10 trillionth or something along those lines of the cell's entire mass, its volume, which I thought was really interesting. This chicken, if I can find a piece of it in here, this chicken right here is like the nucleolus of a cell. The nucleolus is where proteins are synthesized in a cell. Chicken is the most protein-dense food in our gumbo here, so I just compared it to the nucleolus for just the protein's sake. This broth you see down here is exactly like the cytoplasm and the lysosome of the cell. I compared it to both. It's similar to the cytoplasm, just in the fact that it's a fluid just hanging around the gumbo, just like cytoplasm does in a cell. In a cell, lysosomes use enzymes to break down materials, and this broth does the exact same thing. In 30 minutes, these green peppers you see here, that little green pepper, it's going to be gone. It's going to be dissolved into nothing, just like a lysosome does in a cell. And last, we have this rice over here. I've also analogied it to two things. I've likened it to both the cytoskeleton and the vacuole of a cell. When you cook rice, it absorbs water, and it swells to over 3 times its original size, just like a vacuole does in a plant cell. It's similar to the cytoskeleton in the sense that if I were to add it to this gumbo, which I'm not going to do because I don't like it that way, the rice would absorb more liquid, and it would give the whole dish strength and structure, exactly how the cytoskeleton gives structure to the cell. And that is how this gumbo is analogous to a cell.